Regarding fascism, it is necessary for us to sort out what fascism is. In fact, in World War II, there were three countries that were defined as fascists: Germany, Japan, and Italy. The founder of true fascism was the Italian leader Mussolini, who was Hitler's great idol. Mussolini was not only the theoretical authority on fascism, but also the first to put it into political practice. In 1922, Mussolini led the fascist Black Shirt Party to march to Rome, and won the power of Italy in a walk. However, in World War II, Italy basically did not bring any help to Germany, but was a dragging role. To be precise, the symbol of fascism is not the swastika symbol of the German Nazis, but the bunch of sticks. Mussolini's invention of fascism was inspired by the torture tools of the ancient Roman Empire, fasces, which are bundled sticks tied with axes, and are symbols of power. The transliteration of this thing into Chinese is fascism, the literal translation is stick doctrine or axe doctrine, and the free translation is high-pressure regime. Nazis are not ideas, but parties. The National Socialist, referred to as the Nazi Party, German, NSDAP, English, Nazi Party, is the German abbreviation of the words national and socialist. Japanese militarism not only absorbed the ideas of the Nazis, but also removed the color of socialism. It emphasized military expansion externally, worshipped the emperor internally, and the military directly managed the country. Compared with Germany and Italy, Japan's militarism is cruel and extreme, and it has caused the greatest harm to the people of Asia. The formation of Japanese militarism can be considered as the perverted nation of Japan entered a perverted state after the Meiji. Japanese militarism not only invades the outside world, but is also extremely cruel at home. The notorious Black Dragon Society is an assassination organization controlled by militarism. If we comb through the historical context, we will find that Mussolini influenced Hitler, and Prussian Prime Minister Bismarck influenced Japanese Prime Minister Hirobumi Ito. These are all ideological systems. However, it is the United States and the United Kingdom that really support the two fascist countries of Germany and Japan. After World War I, Germany was defeated. The United States joined the war in the later period and became a victorious country, but was kicked out of the spoils gang by the United Kingdom at the Paris Peace Conference. It urgently needed to find allies in the European continent, so it chose Germany, an emerging industrial powerhouse. To help Germany recover its economy, the United States provided loans and investments to Germany. In the Dogs Plan, Germany received a loan of 32.6 billion marks, 70% of which was US capital. In the 1920s, American and British monopoly capital helped Germany obtain advanced technologies such as refining artificial gasoline and artificial rubber. In 1933, the American arms company Trust DuPont sold aircraft engines and fighter jets to Germany. From 1933 to 1939, more than 60 American companies cooperated with German military enterprises, and they provided Germany with various technologies ranging from ceramics and lubricants to automobiles, aircraft, and tanks. Many technologies used by Germany in World War II came from the United States or had received help from the United States. Before and after Hitler came to power, Ford, Rockefeller and other American consortiums provided Hitler with sponsorship of up to $32 million. It is no exaggeration to say that it was the Americans who created the German Nazis. In 1853, the United States used the Black Ship incident to open the door to Japan and began the process of colonizing Japan. While colonizing Japan, the United States also took a fancy China's Taiwan island. The US Navy secretly landed for surveying and mapping and proposed to occupy the island, but at that time the US was busy massacring the Indians in the country and had no time to come to Asia. In 1898, the United States launched the Spanish-American War, defeated Spain, and robbed all Spanish colonies in the Pacific Ocean, including the Philippines. Before the outbreak of the Sino-Japanese War of 1899 to 1895, Britain once tried to support the Manchu-Qing against Tsarist Russia. However, China's poor performance in the Sino-Japanese War of 1898 to 1895 caused Britain to support Japan against Tsarist Russia. Since then, Japanese militarism has been supported by the United States and Britain. In 1904, the Russo-Japanese War broke out, competing for the Korean Peninsula and northeast China. Japan was extremely short of money, so it went to the United States and the United Kingdom for loans, and received enthusiastic responses from the Jewish Rothschild family, and since then it has received support from the Anglo-American Consortium. There are some historical details worth savoring. After the Sino-Japanese War of 1894 to 1895, Japan had been coveting Russia's interests in northeast China for a long time. At that time, Japan's national fiscal revenue was only 1/7 of that of Russia, the number of its standing army was only 1/10 of that of Russia, and its industrial level was far behind. However, Japan, led by militarism, decided to put all its eggs in one basket and attack Port Arthur, a Russian leased base, in 1904. The Japanese Navy first raided and besieged the Russian Pacific Fleet, and then the army captured Lushan and annihilated the local Russian army and navy, and then defeated the Russian reinforcements in the Battle of Fentien, now Shenyang. Subsequently, the Japanese Navy waited for work again, and wiped out the Russian Baltic Fleet that came to rescue from thousands of miles away in the Tsushima Strait. At that time, Japan's annual fiscal revenue did not exceed 200 million yen, and the domestic issuance of public bonds and donations raised only 800 million yen, and the cost of the war against Russia reached 1.8 billion yen. Japanese Prime Minister Fujihiro Bumi was so overwhelmed that he went to the US Embassy in Japan and said, "The war with the Russos is tight at present. Can you ask your country to be more accommodating and lend us more money? When we defeat the Russos in the future, we will pay back twice as much." Japan's loans from Britain and the United States far exceeded the needs of the war, and eventually defeated Tsarist Russia and became the hegemon of East Asia. Not long after the Russo-Japanese War ended, outgoing Prime Minister Ito Hirobumi told the new Prime Minister Kaitaro, "The next enemy is Britain and the United States, and they must be dealt with properly." This is what Britain and the United States call shooting themselves in the foot, self-inflicted evil. However, with the support of the United States and Britain, Japan attempted to annex China completely. In 1931, Japan launched a war of aggression against China, and the stupid Chiang Kai-shek also turned to the United States, Britain, and the League of Nations controlled by them. Japan was originally a vicious dog they fostered. How could it be possible to help China stop Japan in turn? Later, Germany and Japan expanded rapidly, trying to break free from the shackles of the Anglo-Saxons around their necks, and began to devour the Lord. In December 1941, Japan launched the Pearl Harbor incident, and the Pacific War broke out. The United States and Britain who fought in Southeast Asia fled. Breeding a dog is a problem, talking about the shit-stirring sticks like the United States and Britain. For the benefit of their own country, they do not hesitate to provoke conflicts and induce conflicts around the world, even if the people of various countries are killed or injured, they don't care. Today, the American and European white world has forgotten the lessons of history and began to support Ukrainian neo-Nazism in an attempt to contain Russia. In Asia, Japan has shown a serious war tendency under the connivance of the United States. Perhaps the Anglo-Saxon and Jewish capital alliances think that today's Japan and Ukraine will not pose a threat to them, but can only be used as their tools. However, this shameless act of completely lacking justice and denying the anti-fascist history of the people of the world is destined to be cast aside.